Sheila here with Serious Dallas Moon, and what is my response to Mom Danny legalizing squatting in New York? Well, definitely Epstein Island was more dense with sovereignty dishonoring and sovereignty negating activity. Um, People that have housing are less likely to be susceptible to basically the torture and mind control that does cause criminal activity. Um, when we talk about the loss of properties, now the 2030 agenda of owning nothing and being happy and the universal basic income is not new. That being said, when we talk about the loss of properties, people can only blame normalizing rape under whichever guise. There's no such thing as sex work. There's no such thing as sexpionage. Because when people are raped, they enter the psychic realm in timelines that are misaligned with sovereignty. Rape is sexual energy, money, and real estate. One can also add root chakra, relational chakra, and the survival needs. We talk about zero rape, then we have sovereign sexual energy, wealth and well-being, and enough housing for everyone, because each and every individual has their own life energy. And their own life energy contains their real estate, their survival needs. Um, Also, when we take a look at properties and we see damage to the properties or mess to the properties, these are all attacks that try to prevent people from basically maintaining cleanliness or even taking showers or in order to dehouse them. So that they will only have housing as basically Mark Dutroux and Jeffrey Epstein's. Those type of activities negate sovereignty. They're part of the reason United States and Israel have to have another independence war um, that could way more easily be prevented had these things not been practiced. People are like, wait, what do you mean another independence war? Uranus return. But for United States, is Uranus return after Pluto return, and the gross national debt is such that they're going to have to fight off independence, but this time, who is the United States indebted to? Because they're going to have another, not just civil war, but independence war to fight off the debt. This is why um, Um, and for Israel, basically, it's the first Uranus return. And if we go to the chart of the Declaration of Independence, it was basically the opening shot of the Independence War. So one could consider the Israel-Palestine War as a sort of the 1936 Arab rebellion, and and we're going to also have a Saturn return to 67, which can create imperial uh, notions or tendencies within the country, juxtaposed with a possibility of another war of independence. Um, how does one have sovereignty? War of independence is war for sovereignty. Um, the, the, the basically what negates sovereignty is rape. Anything that justify, what do you say? Anything that um, blames the victim, um, calls calls it all kinds of names that are supposed to normalize, whether it's sex work or whether it is name calling to the victim. Um, all these things and all these cultural archetypes are the reason for the loss of properties. There are mentions of Epstein network that were abandoned. One cannot have private property when there is rape. And this is why also when I see the legalization of squatting in itself alone is not suffice. Because one could solve it by, I don't know, making affordable housing accessible. Or by having public housing. Both options can generate solution. But what they can't do is to have homeless people and knowing that there is enough land and enough housing, um, maintain certain areas to try to maintain a lack in a survival need. Through public housing, we saw that the true seers were to get a public housing, he would need to basically perpetuate the rape that was done to him and kidnap children for a network. It was kind of like the Epstein network, if not the Epstein network. And so neither public housing nor affordable housing alone is suffice. And it also makes sense when they're unregistered birth, when there are children in all kinds of hidden, it in any case it affects the energy. Even for people that have housing, their children, their infants are targeted, exposed to things to do with violence, rape, and when they turn to therapy, they are told to paint the monsters. In the best of cases, because if they would be in some sort of community, then that would be their gateway to the physical rituals. The murder of many children in many countries that was associated to such rituals that are, when people are tortured to loss of sense of self, they are under mind control. And they enter the psychic realm from the timelines that are not sovereign and not bringing sovereignty. Rape is not normal. The people that act normal after being raped are planning to destroy the world. And it's understandable. So, understanding that and ceasing to normalize, and understanding, as I said, that even when it comes to communication, the nature of these offenses create communication challenges, and then the people are reliant on mind control to even speak. So this is my €2 on the New York squatting legalization. um, is it implementing 2030 agenda of you will own nothing and be happy? Probably. Um, can we blame 2030 agenda and get mad of the loss of property when the Epsteins were way more risky as a network than a couple of squatters um, that can be tortured and mind controlled? But housed people are not in the situation of unhoused people.